Hello, guys and gals. In this episode, we talked to Lisa Sarick, a mentor and coach who helps spiritual women find and use their soul gifts. She's an interspiritual minister with her master's in art therapy, and she gave me a great new mantra, which is focus your magic.
FYM.
I'm Lauren Leon.
And I'm Frank.
And we are a married couple learning how to develop our intuition. This is episode 53 of Clairvoyaging. Wayfeather Media presents Clairvoyaging. Hi.
Hey guys.
Hey.
What's fresh? What's happening? What's the new deal? It's a brand new day.
What's happening in your world?
Damn. That's cool, guys.
Or maybe it's the evening for them.
We should just fully do, we're talking to them, but they don't get to talk back to us.
Oh.
Hey, how's your day going?
You
don't say. Are you serious?
That's like Steve from Blue's Clues. Have you seen any of his videos?
I think the new format is Blue's Clues.
It's so comforting. He showed up on my For You page on TikTok the day after the election.
Oh, yeah.
And I started bawling because he just...
Are you serious?
He just silently walked up to the camera. He had his cup of coffee and he just looked at the camera and he did this. And he just sat there like this. And I was like, why do I need this so much?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Steve's a cool dude.
Yeah. I was too old for Blue's Clues.
Well, so was I, but my brother.
I was babysitting when kids were watching it. And there's nothing to not like about Steve.
I know. Anyway, my whole point is
an entire episode.
Voyagers, how's it going today? We should make them have real weird responses, though. Hey, guys, how's it going? Wait, she said, what?
And you still talk to her?
And you still went out. Oh, my God.
Okay. And what about your dress? Were you wearing that dress? You were. Okay. We did talk about that. So we advised that maybe you shouldn't. Hey, Frank.
Yes?
We've got a really nice new review. And I just want to say thank you to JYDSEA.
JYDSEA. You didn't tell me about this.
Yeah, I just saw it on Apple Podcasts recently. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they did mention the episode with Gwen and they said, she seems like an old soul and she's got moxie.
She's got moxie.
I was like, yeah, she does.
Gwen's got the mustard. Gwen's one of my favorites. She's one of my favorite kids.
Yeah. So thank you. And we'd like to send you a promo pack. So send us an email at clairvoyagingpodcast@gmail.com and we'll mail you one of our beautiful promo packs.
Some stuff. Oh, and we're throwing in one more little bit inside the new promo packs. It's nothing crazy, but I hope you like stickers.
Also, if you're not following us on TikTok or Instagram or Threads.
We're going off on Threads right now. Threads has been around and I don't know what it is. Apparently the algorithm on Threads is just good. And for community building and stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of disclaimers for this episode. First one, you may notice that we are now running ads.
Yes.
We have an affiliate. So, we're really coming on up. Hopefully it's not too boring. I'm just going to go ahead and say that the ad is exactly 1 minute. So, you just 4 times.
Or if you want a Broovy Coffee system, then listen to it.
Not to mention,
you'll want the goods.
The deal is sweet. Yeah. But we're not going to do another ad right now. I'm just saying.
It's a warning.
I'm just saying, Frank's an editor. And if you hit that go button 4 times, you might just get right back into the episode.
Or twice. It might be 30 seconds.
It depends on your platform.
Yeah.
Last disclaimer is that on this episode, I messed up.
Whoops.
Listen, I biffed. Had a little footage mishap while I was doing some computer backing up. The thing, though, that you want to keep in mind is that you're not even going to notice if you're not watching these on YouTube. But if you do watch this episode on YouTube, it doesn't look as good because I had to use the Zoom video. So a heartfelt whoops. And it won't happen again. Please don't fire me.
And that's that. Let's get right to Lisa Sarick because she is super cool. I said it in the intro, the cold open, if you will. She teaches women how to find and use their soul gifts. I love that. I love that.
I do too.
She's like, just dig in. Like, you are here for a purpose and I help you find it. So without any further ado.
I don't.
I have never said that.
Nope.
Roll it.
Oh, God. Give me some.
I was going to say, roll it away.
Roll it away?
Roll.
Lauren's tired and we're going to need to roll her away.
Take it away. So, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us on Clairvoyaging. We're thrilled to have you here. And
thanks for having me.
Yay. We love to hear people's backstories and to find out what brought you to the work that you're doing now. So, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So, my work now is more as a guide. I help spiritual women to find their soul gifts, use their soul gifts, which often are intuitive soul gifts. Not always. There are lots of other soul gifts that all of us have, but intuitive soul gifts are definitely part of that. So I grew up Catholic, went through that whole religious upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you guys are nodding. Familiar. And then,
this guy is.
And then, yeah, once I was free to do my own thing, I started exploring other religions. I delved right into Buddhism for some reason. As soon as I could, I got my hands on like Zen, right? Yeah, like the Zen books. And when you first get your hands on like a Zen Buddhism book, it makes zero sense whatsoever. But like I persevered. And I became a yoga teacher. I was also an artist. I went to art school. I'm an art therapist. Then became a yoga teacher. Then, to me, though, it's all what the commonality with these things is energy. Because art and art therapy is about moving energy, right? It's about actually, when you create something, you've moved the energy from within out. That's why it's healing. You're moving energy. You're not keeping stuff stuck inside. Then I discovered yoga, became a yoga teacher. I realized, okay, this is the same thing. We're opening up to moving the energy.
Right.
And when you're doing that, you're going to start getting intuitive things. You're tapping into, when you're letting energy flow through, you're tapping into the energy that is all around us, that is connected to all things. There's a chapter in the Yoga Sutras, which is the yogic path as it was laid out 3,000 years ago. There's well, it wasn't written 3,000 years ago. It was probably written like 300, they think, AD. But in that path, there is a whole chapter in the Yoga Sutras on the siddhis. A siddhi, S-I-D-D-H-I, is like a power. It's like a magical power, a superpower, a psychic power.
Yeah.
And it's like, the chapter is like, hey, this isn't the goal, but this stuff might happen to you. Like, look out. If you're going to start meditating, if you're going to start doing yoga, if you're going to be tapping into your energy field, look, this shit could happen.
Yeah.
Keep going, but just know, like, this is where, you know, what might happen. So that's also moving energy. Then I studied energy psychology, which is actually like EFT, like tapping and emotional freedom. Yeah. So I do tapping and all that stuff with clients because, as we were talking a little bit ago about, you need to release some things often, the blocks that you have to actually being natural and intuitive. And so, same thing though, moving energy. So everything that I do is about that. And you will tap into your intuitive self when you do this stuff. So it's like, watch out. Stuff might happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm also an interfaith minister, because then I went to seminary because I had a yoga center, a big yoga center with a business partner, and people started asking if I could marry them, as in officiate their weddings. Mm-hmm. Because as a yoga teacher, you're sort of their spiritual leader. And I was like, I don't know, can I officiate weddings? Like, how do I do that? And I know you can get ordained online and do that whole thing, but I actually wanted to explore, like, could I be a minister? And I can't be a priest. I grew up Catholic, but like, they're still not doing that, right? They're still not doing women.
Nope.
You're not cool enough yet.
No, we're not good enough yet. So I found an interfaith seminary where it's in New York City and where we studied all the faith traditions of the world, so that we minister to people of different faiths, people with no particular faith. I loved it. I got so into it. I mean, I studied, then I got to really dig into all the religions, and we had really prominent teachers from each religion come and teach us about their religion. It wasn't like just my teacher teaching us different religions. It was someone, a leader from that faith, coming and teaching you, and Wiccans, like we had a coven, and Native American traditions. We had a Native leader come and talk to us. So it was really amazing. So that's part of what I do. I officiate weddings and do that kind of stuff, but mainly like I said, coach spiritual women to use their soul gifts, because it's something that I think we undervalue, even no matter how intuitive, psychic, whatever you are. So quick story, my best friend we went to college together. I was in art. I was studying art. She was studying accounting. She has a gift in the maths. Mm-hmm. And, after college, though, she had kids, and then the kids were getting older, and then I had a yoga center, and then she's, came to me one day and said, I need a job. And for a year prior to that, probably, she had been hearing those who crossed over to the other side. Literally. Oh. She's been hearing the spirit world. Yeah. Right. We would get readings, like all my girlfriends would hang out having coffee, and she'd go, okay, your grandmother's here. I know you guys have had mediums on, right?
Yes.
It's just,
yeah.
When they're with someone, those on the other side can know, okay, look, she can hear us, and she's sitting next to my granddaughter. So I'm going to tell her something.
Yeah.
She says it's like they realize this person hears us.
Right. Yeah.
So she starts like giving us all reading. And then, a year later, she's like, I need a job. I was like, you have a freaking job. Are you not going to do the job? God gave you this job. So that it's like to that level that you can have this and just overlook it or not value it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you can do this for people. This is so valuable. This could be so healing. And she is so loving. And, so combined with her other gifts, she could do her own accounting, and right. She could, or you could you combine your other gifts with your intuitive gifts if you have them, and use it in that way. So she was like my first unofficial soul gifts client, and I helped her to get over any of the blocks, like we were saying, like just sometimes people have their own prejudices.
Right. Yes.
Right. Intuition.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Right.
Continue.
Yeah. Do you have that?
I have problems.
Your problems. Okay. Well, we can work on those. You can just be, it's like whatever was ingrained in us or what we were taught, and we're still saying that. And I mean, I run into prejudice again. So I don't do readings. I am intuitive, and I use my intuition in sessions with people. If I do one-on-one work with people, my body is a map of what they're experiencing. So I can feel where your energy is blocked. I can feel when the energy is cleared.
That's cool.
In that way, yeah. So clairsentience, right? You guys know the clairs.
Yeah.
So I have a clairsentience, so I use that when I work with someone. And I found that, if you want to find your intuitive gifts, you have to listen to like what's happening to you, right? Because I found that by, I was working in an internship when I was in art therapy graduate school, and I had a client who was schizophrenic.
Wow. And
he was really creative, loved to create and stuff, but he wasn't always medicated because they don't tend to like they're a little paranoid about what someone's giving them, right? Yeah. So he wasn't always medicated, but we would do art together and stuff. And then when he would leave and I have to write a note now, I have to write a clinical note, I would be like confused and my mind would be going all these different places. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with me? Like, I can't keep a train of thought. Then I was like, oh, I got it from him, right?
You're I got a little still in his energy.
Yeah, like I was still in it. And I thought, okay, so I can use that when I want to, but I can also like let that go through me. Like when talking about moving energy, you have to be able to move people's energy out. If you take it on, you got to be able to get rid of it,
Yeah.
right? Or let it go and get back to yourself. So once I learned to do that, now I'm like, okay, so I can use that to my
That's so cool.
advantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really important, is to like find your clairs, right? Or your even other weird things. Like I don't know what this is called, but I dream things. I dream things that happen. I have prophetic dreams. I have dreams that give me guidance. And I kind of know, so in my dream world, I know the difference. I know the dreams that are like spirit guides giving me guidance. And then
Like in the moment, you know that?
When I wake up and I remember the dream.
Yeah. Oh, so you were like, okay, my spirit guide was with me.
That was one of those. Yeah. It tends to be animals.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It tends to be animals giving me like experiences, like, riding on a dolphin, or I got bit by a whale one time. It's a lot of them are underwater animals for me. But I don't know, if you have a dream you're riding on a wolf, or you're right. It's like,
I don't have dreams like that, but I want to.
We might have to end the interview right now, because I think you just sparked a level of jealousy inside of Lauren that is untamable.
It's so intense.
I think Lauren
I want to ride on a whale.
No, you want to ride a dolphin. She got bit by a whale.
A bit, yeah. Okay, I want to ride on a dolphin or a wolf. Oh, man.
Okay.
I feel like if you got bit by a whale, it would just like brush your hair.
If what?
If you got bit by a whale, it would just like brush your hair, because they have the...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, with their
no, it was a killer whale. It was a killer whale.
Never mind.
Okay. Oh my
Black
God.
and white ones. It worked.
That's scary.
But what, do you not remember your dreams, Lauren? Or
I do. They're just like, they're so like mundane usually. Or like, if it's intense and I remember it, like I'm just being chased by someone, or like when I used to work as a waitress, I would have just like server nightmare dreams. They're so basic.
Well,
I want to ride a wolf. Yeah, those are stress dreams.
Yeah, we have stress dreams.
Yeah. I really only... I have gotten visitation dreams.
Wow.
My brother passed 20 years ago, and he used to visit me like a lot.
Okay.
And I've had other visitations too, but I don't have any... People have such like vivid dreams. Sometimes I'll just be like, oh, that was weird. But it was just like,
yeah,
I don't know. You were wearing this weird hat and we were wandering through this house, and like, oh, so boring.
Yeah, I know. But the quality of the dream, like when your brother visited you, that quality, right? Mm-hmm. It's different. Like when you wake up, you're like, that was,
oh yeah.
It's not a dream about my brother. It's a dream where my brother visited me. It's a different.
Yeah.
It's like that. There's a different quality to the animals showing me things or teaching me things. And
that's so cool.
And then with the prophetic dreams, so I'll give you one little dream tip from a friend of mine who's a shamanic practitioner. So I've had prophetic dreams that were like stupid, like you're saying, kind of mundane. Like,
yeah,
I was driving my car. Remember this one? I was driving my car and I looked in the rearview mirror and there was a red Jeep behind me in the rearview mirror. And I remembered that dream when I woke up. And then I went somewhere in the car and I looked in my rearview mirror and there was a red Jeep behind me.
Ooh.
Right? And people, it's not deja vu. It's like, oh yeah, that I dreamed that.
Yeah.
What is the point of that? Like, so what, but
right.
my friend said to me, that's them saying, listen here. Right? That's them saying, pay attention. Like, we're going to drop something here.
That's cool.
Like in this space, like this is your little lighthouse. Come here for data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like listen in your dreams. Look, are you paying attention? Okay, here, we're going to put something. So
that's cool.
If that ever happens, that could be a little like, yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of dream visitations as well. Never for me specifically, just for information to pass on to family members who are like grieving and stuff.
Wow.
But they're very quick because my sleepy brain is not very cohesive. I'm all over the place. Maybe my daytime brain as well.
We're not getting the prophecies and
no prophecies, not yet.
Guides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is that? Like, that's a what is that? Is that clairvoyance?
I don't know if that's even, I feel like that doesn't land in a clair. That just sounds like
Right.
classic precognition.
Yeah.
If you were to ask like someone who studies the paranormal, I don't know what that lands into. I'm sure someone who knows more than me would know.
Yeah. Or the visits from spirit guides in your dream. That's that's a different thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's also like signs in daily life, like
Mhm.
getting messages from in your daily life from spirit. That's
Yeah.
not a different thing too. Like my couple of Christmases ago, right before Christmas, my daughter she's a teenager, she's a young teenager, and she had a stomach ache, and then she started throwing up, and then she's like, "Oh, my stomach hurts," whatever. And she was like, I said, "Well, what's on a 0 to 10? What's your pain level?" And this kid can take pain from just what I experienced with her through her life.
Yeah.
She can tolerate, and she said 9 or something like that. And I was like,
Oh.
"Whoa, we're going to a hospital."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm like, take her. I told my husband, take her to the emergency room. Like, I'll, tie up things here. Whatever. We just have the one kid, but, and then it was like her whole stomach hurt, her whole abdomen. And 2 days before that, I think I had read this article about, is it Jake Tapper's daughter? Some journalist, I think it might have been Jake Tapper. His teenage daughter had gone to the hospital with abdominal pain, and then got sent home, and tried to go, got sent home a couple times, kept trying to, and she almost died because her appendix ruptured.
They didn't catch that right away? That's
They
wild.
didn't catch it because it wasn't localized. It wasn't on that one side,
Oh my
or
gosh.
it was just everywhere.
So you
And I
read
had
that 2 days before.
I had just read that, and so my husband's on his way to the hospital, and I'm like, "Where's that article?" And I sent it to him. I'm like, "Just read this or whatever, and just make sure that they don't send you home without having checked."
Right.
Right. So she got an X-ray and had to have her appendix out. real quick.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I mean, just from some of my personal experiences, not things that happen to me, but things that I've heard about or things that I've been involved in. As a general rule, if you have pain and they tell you to go home, don't go home. Don't go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say
Keep
no.
searching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gosh. Yeah.
Well, it's you have to find someone that will listen to you or make them listen. I don't know. But yeah,
there's a strain of doctors who just think everyone's a hypochondriac, and it's not great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so interesting though. I love those signs, those little synchronicities or messages from the universe, and you were truly paying attention. So
I was.
You got
and that's
it.
one of the I think that's one of the important things. If you want to develop your intuition, it's it's a two-way street.
Mhm.
It's imagine you're giving someone advice, maybe they ask, maybe they don't, but they're not listening to you.
Yeah.
Eventually you're going to be like, that person doesn't, they don't listen to me. They're not going to hear it.
Yeah.
Yep.
If the universe is talking to us in intuitive messages or messages around us or whatever, I always tell my clients, say thank you
Mhm.
every time. When that happened, and then she had to have I said, thank you. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Make sure you are
Acknowledging it.
reciprocating.
Yeah.
Acknowledging it.
Yeah.
And saying more of that, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Got it. I'm open. I'm listening, because if you're just going to take it for granted you're not opening that street.
Right.
Your experience growing up Catholic, we'll just go through that real quick. What was the thing that made you start questioning the practices there?
When they said God is everywhere, but they weren't saying that God is in me. I was like, well, if God's everywhere, why can't I access it in me?
Wow, that's an interesting observation.
I was like a kid. I was a little kid. I was like, you're not saying the same. You're being incongruent there.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, God loves everyone, but you can't be gay.
Mhm.
That's not, I don't think that sounds right.
And you were a kid, having these realizations?
Yeah, I mean, I went all the way
That's
through.
so
I got
awesome.
confirmed I got confirmed when I was a teenager. So it was before my teens.
Yeah.
Just the inconsistencies that I don't know.
Did you like get confirmed like holding your nose along the way? Or was it like, were you not quite there yet?
No, I was fine, but I love ritual.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ritual is freaking awesome. I was like, I love this. I love the frankincense. Like, give me all the. I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
the dress. My grandmother was my sponsor. I'm like, I love all this. I got another name.
Yeah.
That shit's amazing. Like, that's the shit that all the religions do something like that I love.
Yeah.
So totally down with the ritual. And then my parents were very much like, that's kind of like you are now an adult in the eyes of the church also. So they were like, after that, they stopped pushing, like, go to church on Sunday.
Got it.
They let us really, once we got confirmed, decide more what we wanted to do or not. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and I have a lot of overlap, and I think we haven't touched on it yet, but we're going to get there because the thing for me was very similar realizations. And then like saying, well, it's not like the foundational belief system of like the 10 Commandments is pretty good. That's pretty good stuff. No complaints. Literally 10 out of 10. But all the other junk, I started blaming the church administration and the powers that be. And that brought me into, I lost friends because I decided to walk away from the church. I said, you guys can do whatever you want, but I can't do this anymore. Something doesn't feel right. And so begun my rebellious teen years that I never grew out of. I am still in it. And now in this period of time that we find ourselves in, I've been doing a ton of research, and I think the episode that is going to come out before yours, I'm doing a whole breakdown of the concept of divine femininity and like the patriarchal and authoritarian system that we find ourselves in, and how that is, it's time for change. Mm-hmm. And hearing that you are a guide to like help women find their true gifts and their spirituality and their intuition, I'm so excited to hear more.
Yeah. I mean, this is the time for us to own our power, and so many of us are not, and it can be scary. I just did a workshop about harnessing your intuitive gifts, talking a lot about the witch wound, because as women, and I'm not saying some men don't have this, but as women, we might have ancestral trauma and or past life trauma where we were persecuted and or killed and or burned or drowned for being a witch, which I have been called in this life as well, even though, like I said, I don't actually do intuitive readings, but just because I talk about it, I talk about intuition and channeling. All my friends, I'm surrounded by, and that's going to happen to you too, end up surrounded by just channels and healers and psychics. Animal communicators. I mean, I have someone I can call for everything. I have my friend who talks to dead people. I have my friend who talks to animals. Like, you're going to have this too, right?
Yeah.
And so I talk about that, and so I live in a very conservative area. Ended up here. I'm not from here, but
you're in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania, in a very conservative area, and my daughter was going to play practice, and I would drive her, and some other moms would drive. We're driving this group of kids that were doing this, and one of my friends said, "Well, let me put you on the text chain for this carpool." And I said, "Cool." And then I got a message, and I realized it wasn't a text message chain; it was a Facebook message chain.
Mm-hmm.
And
where all the good things happen,
yeah. When I saw it was a Facebook message chain, I was like, "Uh-oh." I think I might be in trouble.
Oh no.
Because I just knew some of the parents that were on it, and especially this one mom who I knew was very religious and conservative Christian. And I was like, oh man, if she checks out my Facebook profile, like, we're in trouble. And I think it was around Halloween, and
oh boy.
just posted stuff about what it actually means to be a witch, like what a witch, a witch is a woman, a witch is wise, whatever.
Yeah.
I knew I was in trouble. So then the next day I got kicked out of the carpool. And,
oh my God. Wait, was there? Okay. That's so,
I didn't care.
That's so, I'm sure it was just like, all right, whatever. But
yeah,
I'm so curious, like, what was the exchange? Like, was she like, you can't drive my kid anymore because
Yep. Yeah,
she
told the mom who got me. We didn't even know each other. We had never met.
Mm-hmm.
But she told the mom who I was already friends with that she's a witch and I don't want my kids in her vehicle. Like she didn't want me to spell them or anything. I guess she didn't want to
spell them,
hex them or something.
Yeah,
of course.
I couldn't drive. So I don't know if my kid is allowed to ride in her car, but her kids weren't allowed in mine. And I was like, that's fine. And I asked my daughter, like, what do you think of that? She's like, everyone likes you better anyway. It's
yes,
stupid,
Of course.
So it wasn't a big. It was just really like
it's just
we know each other, a little bit.
Let's. Okay. Here's what I want to ask about, because we are in modern times and we're talking about the persecution of witches.
Witches, yes.
And like how some of these intuitive abilities, the trauma, you might be born with the trauma because of past lives, past situations, whatever it might be. Intuitive gifts are innately feminine energy. And because of the powers that be, it appears to me, and I want to get your take on this, it was in the patriarchy's best interest to, as much as they can, demonize feminine energy and the energy of being an individual and being yourself
and feminine power.
And,
everyone just kind of like taking power into their own hands, and
to the point where like the concept of a witch very much might have been created to demonize feminine power.
Yeah.
And that because we all like to have fun, you're going to call me a witch, I'm going to be a witch. And yeah.
Well, when I got the text message that she said you're a witch, I texted back, well, I'm not a witch. I don't want to tell you.
Best
in
response.
Her definition, right? And it's the Christian in the Christian thing, in a conservative Christian mind, we're not allowed to. It is power, like you said, Lawrence, about power, right? We're not allowed to directly access God, which is the thing I said. I didn't understand Catholicism. I was like, what? Like, we're not allowed to open up a direct channel. We're not allowed to channel spirit energy. That's demons or devil work. And we're not allowed to meditate. Even meditating, you're opening up to, I guess they're afraid the devil's always going to sneak in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've gotten a comment on like, I did this like meditation challenge for like a 30-day challenge. And I was posting daily to just like give a little, here's the thing I did today. And I got like a comment that was like, we're only supposed to meditate on the word of God.
Right.
Be careful what you let in. And I was like, I'm not even going to give this any attention.
Again, like at this point that we are in history where everything that is not just Jesus is considered the devil or a demon.
Yeah.
Like there's this like very strange black and white cut where 90% of spirituality is just the devil's work, and there's only like one right way, and it's only okay when Jesus does magic, no one else can.
Right.
And like it's kind of
because I've seen this, the woman who kicked me out of the carpool, I saw her, it's a long story, but they have a coffee truck and I love coffee, and I went to the coffee truck and she was outside the coffee truck like praying on someone. Like channeling Jesus, saying, Jesus, come and blah, blah, blah. And she had one hand on her and one. I'm like, I do that.
Right.
I do that. I bless a couple. I say, God bless this marriage. And like, if you don't use that exact word, like you said, if it's not that way, or you're not calling Jesus, like there's lots of Jesus is awesome. I love Jesus. Right. Jesus is wonderful. There's also lots of other spirits that are willing to help us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can have good intention and ask for good. And my friend who's a medium, like I said, she is so loving and sweet, but she always does do a prayer of like, only, make good, protect us, and God protect us, and only what is good come through. And I don't know if there are demons or evil spirits, whatever, but it's your intention.
Yeah, the intention, the higher vibration, and saying like, for everyone's highest good. It's so interesting. They only allow the one.
If we empowered ourselves to connect with God directly, what would we need the patriarchal? What would we need the priest for? What would we need the patriarch of the church for?
Right.
As Christian, if we were Christians, if we could just access God ourselves. But in my seminary, it's really interesting because all of the faiths, all of the traditions, we had a teacher that came and taught us, but they had been someone who like went all the way up, used that religion, and then went to the mystical. Like any of the paths can go to mystical.
Every path goes to mystical.
Yeah.
If you're allowed to bypass the glass ceiling.
If you let go of it. Yeah. Well, our Buddhist teacher said, once you cross the river, don't take the raft with you.
Wow.
Right?
I like that.
So you could use the religion as much as you want and the teachings and whatever, but then once you get there, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Which brings up another question for me, actually. Which one is the correct religion?
Good question.
That's so cool that you learned all those different disciplines. And I mean, because some people are like, I can marry people, and they go to like online and they just fill out a little
I did that
certificate.
If I were to ask the Universal Church or something, I'm Reverend Frank.
Yes, that's fine.
That was in high school.
Okay.
That was in high school. It was a joke because it was a band thing.
But it's cool, like doing a deeper dive and
I really
learning every different part of it. That's so cool.
Yeah, and that's what we learned is that really like all paths lead to the top of the mountain. Or can, like you said, if you do break through the ceiling, if you let it go, like what I have another teacher who said, why isn't Christianity creating Christs? Why isn't Buddhism creating Buddhas? Like, why isn't everyone walking around like Jesus? All these Christians, well, they're not doing it. They're not actually, right? You're not actually getting to the point. Like there should be Buddhas and Jesuses walking around, magically healing everyone. We can.
Dude, it's fear.
It's fear and control.
Yeah.
And
control,
wanting power.
And then you said something
people scared.
Fun because you're saying, I don't know if demons exist or anything. You're a witch. Of course you should know. But according to everybody else. But the funny thing is about all of these, like, you have to follow the rules. We say this is what the rules are. All of that creates more than like a staying on the rails. It creates fear of what's outside of the rails. And the fear, correct me if I'm wrong, is what makes you more susceptible to inviting negativity in. You can't have good days all the time. You're going to have a bad day one day. You're going to be a strict Catholic and you're going to be like, oh my God, this is the devil. He's in me already.
The low vibration.
And any spirit that just feels like being a dick on that particular day is going to say, hey, look at this guy. I'm going to say I'm the devil.
And that's where even like new age spirituality, like non-religious spirituality goes wrong too. When it's like good vibes only and all blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, how about rage vibes? How about like, how about like all the, I commented on someone's thread right after the election. Be the rage you wish to see in the world. Be the rage.
That's such a conversation.
Rage, like be the rage at like not allowing people to have equal rights. Be, be enraged at, whatever's hurting families. Separating families and like just there's things to be, and that's okay. That's part of this human experience. Is part of spirit. Is it everywhere? Remember, God's everywhere. So then God is in all this stuff, and there's this world just is a world of opposites. And if we can embrace all of that, it's a world of opposites. And like, there's the concept of the yin and the yang. I talk about it all the time with Lauren. The yin and the yang are both correct. There's a time there's a tower moments. Do you do tarot at all? Not the traditional.
Okay. But like, you have your tower moments where like, it is sometimes your job to be non-compliant.
And,
Right.
and if you feel that rage, you can in a cool-headed manner, rage in the correct direction. And a lot of that, especially for women right now, is calling your power back to you.
I think the like high vibes only just goes into the like toxic positivity thing.
Yeah.
Because like not everything is just like, it's all good. Like it ultimately will be and is all good. But like to kind of just wash over everything with like, just stay high vibration and everything will be fine. It's like, that's
because then you are afraid. Then you are, like Frank was saying, then you're afraid of rage, or you're afraid of you're going to cut off half of yourself and leave it in the shadows.
Yeah.
When you want to bring it all in.
Yeah.
There's a division here where like everyone needs to address the fact that being rageful is not evil. Like,
there's a big difference.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
We have it blended
unspiritual.
Yeah, it's not unspiritual to be rageful.
Yeah.
Don't stay there. Don't stay there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Don't live in it.
For me, something that I'm learning is to take my like genuine rage towards I'm so anti-authoritarian, but not an anarchist in any kind of way. So I'm taking my rage, I siphon it personally into like humor and make it fun. And I try to make that fun for other people too. And that, sure, maybe I poke the bear and like, but that's a fun way to get people to maybe recognize their own traumas. Because if you're that triggered, you need to focus on that. Yeah.
A friend of mine calls it traumedy.
Traumedy!
Oh,
good Lord.
How have we not? We are the pun people. How have we not?
You do traumedy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
She writes, I have a friend who writes traumedy. Yeah, it's good. You can have that.
Now here's my rage.
No,
I'm mad. I'm mad that we haven't said or thought of that word.
We're not as cool as we think we are.
No. What a bunch of idiots.
But you know what I've stolen from someone is wasbend. Because I have a wasbend. Was my husband. My wasbend.
Oh my God.
My wasbend is an alcoholic that I had to leave.
Wasbend.
Yeah.
To leave, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. I want to hear more about your experience in working with women and their trauma and their intuitive developing. Is there some like uniting trauma that they're working through that they need to call back their power in a particular way?
That's a good question.
I mean, there doesn't have to be a uniting.
I don't know that there's one. There's the religious one is definitely a common one.
Sure.
Where they have to clear this thought that like it's not okay. Like I have to close down this power, this ability.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying, is there a specific trauma or is there a specific like kind of belief system that gets formed after trauma?
Well, I mean, that kind of both.
Yeah, the traumas create the beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Traumas often create the beliefs. So there's that one, and there's just the there's the good girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, yeah.
This may be the kind of the witch wound thing where there's the good girl thing. A lot of women have to get over. You don't want to be a bitch. You don't want to be a bitch or a witch. So
too
the good
bossy.
girl. Yeah, too bossy, too, all that, and taking care of that. Your job is to take care of everyone else. So there's that. There's a lot of the good girl stuff that because so many women come to me and they've focused on everyone else for so long. And I tell the story when I was with my husband and I was focused on him because he had this drinking problem, and I lost myself in focusing on that.
Yeah.
So I had to then let that go and then find myself again. And this is my job. Like, if I was supposed to be focused on someone else, I would be someone else.
Right.
I'm supposed to take care of this.
Yeah.
Right. I'm supposed to take care of me. And then, it's what's that thing? The oxygen mask analogy, right? You want to put it up, but women just they don't put it on themselves. They just put all the oxygen masks all over everyone until they're like dying.
Yeah. I love the way you put that. Like, this is my job. I haven't thought of it like that. Like, yeah, you always hear the oxygen mask or fill up your cup first or whatever, but like, that's so great to just think about like being taking care of this body is my job. Thank you for that. I just needed to like acknowledge that for a second because I haven't thought of it that way.
And this life. And so what gifts I was given, like I say, you're like the delivery truck and you were loaded with all these gifts and are you just driving around, not delivering them? Or are you like, do you just,
oh, that's
like,
great.
Like all these were loaded in.
Yeah.
So I do have to focus, a lot of times I have to focus women just on themselves. And that is the first step. And like you were asking what it looks like, I do have a coaching program. I have like a 90-day program. I do one-on-one work sometimes also, but my 90-day program it's like, this is everything I wanted to give women. This is the journey I want them to take them on. And it's 90 days. It goes, and it starts with that. It starts with focus on myself, take care of myself, turn down noise. If you want to tune into your own gifts, you have to stop hearing like all the noise. We are so bombarded, aren't we, with like,
oh my gosh, yeah,
outside noise. It's like, just be quiet and turn down the noise, and then you'll start to hear right from within what wants to be created.
Yeah, it's that is a huge thing for me personally, because I'm just like, shut
You think?
it up.
Are you never inside?
If someone, here's an example. If someone texts Lauren, no matter what's going on, there could be a fire. Her hair could be on fire. She will text that person back right away. And listen, for me,
that's so true.
The thing that is, you're available.
I'm so easily distracted.
Me, on the other hand, tend to be a little bit of an isolationist. I'm the other extreme. My friend Kelly the other day said, listen, I know when I text you, it's basically a carrier pigeon. It'll get there when it gets there. You'll respond when you can.
Frank will have like 60 unread messages.
No, I probably have 60 unread messages right now. I'll get to them, but I'm not an emergency service.
And I'm like, I have one. I have to see what it is. Of course, they need my response. And it's like something so usually mundane or stupid or like whatever, but I feel like I have to respond like immediately. I've trained myself to be this way.
There's just so much coming at us. Like,
I
mean, I don't know that we're meant to have access to the entire world all the time. It's so overstimulating. So
it feels like innately wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, think about, Little House on the Prairie. Like, they may find out what the neighbors, a couple miles away are doing like once a month.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
they don't know the outside world for like a year.
Right. But look what's happened to us now. We're in California. So like, we lose power on occasion because of fires and stuff. Power goes out, internet's down. Within maybe 1 minute, I am so bored. I'm bored to tears. And I'm not one I've never been bored in my life, but my entire life is digital. I'm an editor. All my creative work is like on a machine. And it's like, it's crazy to be available and need that type of, the term dopamine is like abused these days, but still like need that level of being on.
You need that
constantly.
So part of your 90 days, like what is the recommendation, or like how do you actually do the thing of not allowing so much in?
Yeah, as a spiritual elimination diet, I call it, where you start unsubscribing podcasts off.
Hey.
Wait a minute.
Like, not except for you guys. Like selective.
Sure.
Yeah.
Selective unsubscribing to emails, to TV shows, to YouTube channels, just really like how many do you how many do you need?
Right.
I went through this and I unsubscribed like emails from my teachers, from like spiritual teachers that I would unsubscribe and send a little note saying, hey, I'm just, going to listen within for a while, or I just need to turn down the outside voices to hear my own voice or something like that. And some of them responded and said, oh, I totally appreciate that, good luck, whatever. Yeah, that kind of thing. Like, how many really do you need coming in? And then and then what happens with some people is it leads to like getting rid of clutter in their homes too.
Oh, that's a big one.
I think really, you're onto something.
Yeah, but really what I mean is the spiritual, like just information. Stop taking workshops. Stop taking, no more additional intuitive classes, no more additional, like let's work with what you have right now and put the rubber on the road. Like, let's not cool. Like stop learning, stop spiritually seeking. And so it's like, I'm saying, like, don't do any more workshops except for mine. Don't listen to any podcasts except for this one.
But I still haven't heard anybody say it that way, because it is true. We have talked about it before on the show, but like at a certain point, because we have a bit of an issue. Every week we're engaged in a super deep conversation where we are learning about all this stuff. And at what point do we take a moment to like practice it and try it out?
Do it.
Yeah. So like fully know, like, just because we haven't like joined everyone's programs and stuff doesn't mean we don't absolutely love it and think it's amazing. We just like, if I did everything all the time, I would be so distracted. I would never actually digest the lesson.
Yeah.
Right.
So
digest it and do it. Yeah. I tell people stop seeking. Like the spiritual teachers aren't going to tell you there has to be a point where you stop.
Right.
See what you know. Like I learned so many meditation techniques at one point that I sat down to meditate and I was like, wait, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I think I'm done taking meditation workshops. Like right? You have to pick a thing.
Yeah.
Pick one. Pick a practice. Do it. Pick an intuitive mode. If you want to use tarot cards, do that. If you want to use, like, you have to pick a thing. So that's one thing I down the road in the Soul Gift program, like, pick a thing. Like, what do you do? You have to decide and do.
Right.
Because you can't do all the things. You can't, like you guys learning all, from all these teachers, like, of course you're not going to can't do all of it.
I want to.
Yeah.
But then
well, that workshop sounds cool.
Yeah.
That development class. So once you've like closed off all the outside stuff, and what's the recommended? Is that for 90 days or is that for a month or like?
No, it's the first couple of weeks is spiritual elimination and focusing on yourself, just learning to take really, really good care of yourself. It's like, it's a quiet time, at least for a couple of weeks, I would say.
Sounds
and
nice.
then we start just, okay, what are your soul gifts? Like literally making lists. What's your intention? What are your soul gifts? Like, then you start getting just more intentional. And soul gifts can be intuitive. And a lot of my clients do have intuitive and psychic gifts, but they could be creative gifts, or they could just be, one of my clients started an Etsy shop, and just with her soul gift, she always wanted to start it. And now she became a star seller really quick, and she's kicking ass. Like, it's so whatever. Cool. Yeah. It's just to use your soul gifts and to know what they are so that you can also give your gifts in a way that is nourishing to you. Like I said about my friend who's a medium, and, just the way she does it. But because everyone doesn't want to be Tyler Henry and be on TV. Yeah. Right. So if you're an introvert and a writer and you have intuitive gifts, maybe you get someone's information and then you meditate quietly and you write and you give them the written reading.
Right.
Yeah.
Interface like this if you're an introvert, or you don't stand on a stage, or you don't, So I'm like a performer. I'm like, yo, give me a stage. But like everybody's not. So you have to get to know yourself, So a lot of it's that. The next steps are like really getting to know yourself and all of your gifts, so you then create something that's not a suck fest. You can create your own suck fest.
For sure. Right? Yes, you can.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I have done that, and then I had created.
Do you then go like? Is this is it a 90-day workshop where you have like a small group of people and then you kind of like hone in on where are we at? Like, what's your list like? How can I help you to drill down?
Yeah, we have weekly coaching. Yeah, there's weekly coaching sessions with me. There are video modules, so the course is kind of in video form, but then we have weekly coaching sessions, and people can start anytime. So people may be at different points on their journey.
Oh, that's cool.
The coaching just helps me help them get to the next step. And some people's intentions are to use their soul gifts for money, but some are just wanting to remember who they are.
Yeah.
Just to remember who you are and to come out as who you are.
That's nice.
Not be afraid of it.
Something that you, regarding your friend who developed her mediumship, do you see this a lot where people are, they haven't given themselves permission to be themselves, and like also in a way where like she has this gift. You said you should use your gift as a job. God gave you a job is what you said. And like that doesn't fit into our current like societal model. So it's not something you would think of initially. It feels like to people who are trying to stay on the rails too much, it feels like an impossibility or like a pipe dream.
Right. I don't know why though. I see it. I see, this is why one of my gifts is seeing other people's soul gifts, because I see it. I'm like, why don't you just do that? What are you, why are you making your life so hard?
We all need someone like you to say that to us. Yeah.
One of my friends says I'm a nudger. I'm just like, just go do that. Like, or just try it. Anyway, I'm not saying like quit your job and join the circus. I'm saying like if you want to be a circus performer, like start doing
Head in that direction.
Start doing it
Follow
on
the
side.
circus.
Lisa says, don't join circus. I'll cross that out.
Yeah. Right.
What? So Frank and I are both. Do you do human design? Are you into human design?
No, I don't know anything. I've heard of it, but I don't know my thing. Also the Enneagram, like I don't know mine. I've heard that too. I'm like, whatever it is where I'm kind of an introvert, actually. I'm introverted in that I need to recharge. I need quiet. I need to be alone. I need like nothing. I need no one to talk to me.
Yeah.
But
maybe a projector then.
No, because I'm the same way. You can't guess what she is.
Oh, okay.
I'm the same.
But I don't mind performing, right? I don't mind being on stage. I could talk to 1,000 people. I don't mind that. But if I'm in the grocery store and I see you, I probably will try to avoid you.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
What's wrong with
I do.
Why
that.
am I?
I do. I do that. I get it.
Yeah.
I am a self-proclaimed, I guess, an ambivert, but I lean towards introvert, and I have a show weekly where I talk about everything I'm thinking about and going through. It doesn't make sense, but then after this, I go away and I accumulate text messages, and I'll get to you one day. So totally
like he played in a band with me. I was
we met from playing in a band.
Co-lead singer. He was the lead guitarist and would like get the shakes before our performances, before our shows. Wow.
I hate playing shows, but I loved playing.
It's because you have the podcast is different because you have the protection of like not a crowd of people watching you. I think that's the difference.
I don't know. I haven't gone down this road yet.
Well, one day when we do a live
so that's
show,
what I'm saying,
see.
right? Like you have these musical gifts, and those are soul gifts too, right? You have all that, but then like, how could you use that gift, but not in a way that you hate doing it?
Yeah,
it's like that's part of what I help people.
Yeah, now I just walk around with my guitar through the house all day long and bother my family. That's how I'm using my gift.
Yeah, some things, right? And we don't have to give all of our gifts publicly, like right? We can decide which ones we want to actually do. Like I could build websites, but that's no, thank you.
Samesies, and I hate it.
Yeah.
I build websites for anybody who asks me, and then I'm like, all right, cool. They're like, let me pay you. I'm like, no, I don't do this for work. I refuse.
I refuse to.
Well,
we
the
get
part
to
of
decide.
I was going to ask about human design because our type is manifesting generator, which just like the main thing of that is that you try a bunch of things and you are multi-hyphenate, or multi-passionate. So like we've been in a band, I've had an Etsy shop, I've done acting, we've done filmmaking, we now have a podcast, like we've done all these different things. So are there cases where like you find someone has like multiple soul gifts, or is it kind of like this is funneling down into this one thing?
Yeah, that everyone has multiple. I encourage decision making.
Decision.
I encourage, because I encourage. Let's draw all the energy that's all these places and just decide on one thing. And sometimes people are afraid to decide because, like, what about all the other things? Well,
cold feet.
Just right. yeah, it's like it's not written in stone. It's not for the rest of your life, but your energy is more powerful, focused.
That's exactly my plight.
The biggest,
most of the time. I've given myself permission to just be focused on one thing, and it doesn't mean that that's what I am only.
Right.
Or forever.
Yeah. Like I learned Reiki in the last year, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to be just like a Reiki practitioner. Like, what does this mean? It was like this thing of like, what does this mean about me now? Like it had to define me in some way. It's just an extra thing that I now know.
Well, I like 90-day intentions, right? So at the beginning of the program, I have everyone have a 90-day intention. Like, what do you want for the next? Where are you going to focus for the next 90 days? You could do quarterly, right? You could do it with the seasons. Like the universe can show us how to do this next season, next 90 days. Okay. Here's where my energy is going to go. You could do 90-day chunks.
Okay.
The biggest joke that we have to deal with. I feel like
you're writing that very, very hard.
Yeah, I am.
Frank is going to put that back in my face.
100% this is for you.
Every day for the next 90 days.
No, listen, the biggest joke we have to deal with as humans is the concept of time. It's comically horrible.
Yeah.
To deal with that. Mm-hmm. Like for Lauren in particular, and me also, but Lauren's so bad at time. It's not a skill you have.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's real bad.
But really, I used to, before we were involved in spiritual stuff, I'd always say, Lauren, you're kind of like this nebulous cloud of possibilities, and like you refuse to wear a watch. Like I need you to siphon into something, like to live into your full power, right? Your full potential.
Yeah.
And
then I would wear a watch and I wouldn't look at it.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, cool watch, babe. But why is it dead?
Yeah.
Or I would, and then I just
because you're diffusing your energy then, like everywhere, like you said,
completely
diffusing.
Yeah. Well,
not only with myself, but with everybody else too. Yeah. So I'm just like a diffuser.
Yeah. Diffusers are nice.
Cool.
Do you make to-do lists or
no?
Like have deep work time or anything? Yeah.
Have what time?
I do encourage deep work.
What?
Do you know deep work?
Like
going inward is
no, like time blocking, like
time blocking. Deep work is a book.
I'm gonna leave, right?
Yeah, you better just walk. You should walk away.
I'm gonna mute.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's just something to try because you can't, say tomorrow from 1 to 4 or 1 to 2. It's like you don't even block more than like an hour or two at first. Nobody does that. Stephen King, I guess, writes in the morning for 2 hours and then does whatever else the rest of the day. But you do need some time where like phone is off, this is off, that it's 1 hour where I'm gonna whatever. I don't know.
Frank is loving this because this is
because you're really resistant.
I'm on mute.
You're resistant to it.
I want to do that. And then the actually following through with it is so hard. And I don't know why. I'm like, well, maybe I need Adderall because but I think I just need to focus or
just think of it as just think of it as channeling your energy. Just think of it as your power, your energy and your power, your magic. Okay. What could you, my gosh, see, look what you've done. Look what you've created being diffused. Imagine your power if you focused it for 35 minutes or 30 minutes.
I like that. Focusing my magic. Thank you for that. Okay.
I'm very practical. I mean, I'm spiritual, but I'm practical. I try to bring the spiritual in, but we're working in this world and we do have time. It is a thing, but we can transcend that. It's like focus your magic in. Maybe it's 30 minutes. Then don't make it an hour or 2 hours. Just
I'm gonna write "focus your magic" on our whiteboard in the kitchen. Oh, he's written it down.
Man, that's such good advice.
Yeah. Shut.
No. Don't you understand? All this is from a standpoint of encouraging you. I'm a tough love guy.
I know.
I'm a tough love guy, but
he has really good insight, and sometimes I'm just like, stop it.
Well,
You know it.
Can't hear
You know
it.
me
It's
too
hard- yeah,
well.
You don't want to hear from your.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear from your partner.
I
You
want
don't
to
wanna
hear it from Lisa.
Yeah, sometimes I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
mute myself. See,
Yeah.
I know what's going on.
I need to just
Correct.
focus my magic.
Yes.
Let me.
You've created so much. You've done so much and created so much. Being a nebulous. What did you
a
say?
nebulous cloud of possibilities.
Set of possibilities. And imagine what you could.
Yeah. If I just narrow it down to one possibility
Just for
decision.
a block of time.
Yeah.
90
Yeah.
days.
It could
yeah,
be 90
just
days, or it could be the next
Okay.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Just momentarily super focus.
Yeah.
Or would you
3
call it
hours
deep
is
work?
long.
Well,
Yeah, deep work.
so I work at this desk, like I work my day job, and Frank will work. His desk is over there. You can't see it, but I'll be like, I have to go get some work done. Frank will come in, and I'm doing something weird, like researching. Yesterday, it was like, oh, there's this play in town, and I think
We should go.
I need to tell my dad about this, or like,
Yeah.
it's just like I'm just off on a whole thing, and he's like, "Oh yes, you're getting work done. I see." I'm like, "Oops," or I'll be like, "There's there's a sale at this place." Okay, thank you for that.
Well, we momentarily touched on tapping. And
Oh yeah,
how does that work into your practice and your teachings?
Yeah, so that works because.
Oh, I should also say no one from the show, if they're new to spirituality, knows what tapping is at all. So
Okay.
what is it first?
So tapping is also called EFT. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And it is an energy psychology technique based on using the energy meridians of the body, which are the energy channels of the body, similar to the way acupuncture works.
Mm.
So an acupuncturist doesn't stick a needle randomly anywhere. They're sticking it somewhere where there's an energy channel, a meridian that ends, in your ear or, under your arm or somewhere. But those energy channels go through the body. They channel emotional energy, physical energy, spiritual energy, all the energies. So tapping is just using your finger and using your own energy, your own finger, instead of sticking a needle there, you're tapping on the acupressure points. And there's a little protocol. It's also ritual, which I love. It's also using the intention of the mind. So it's a mind, body, spirit, energy technique. And I've been doing it for over 20 years. I've found it to be incredibly helpful. I found people can be free of something, a long-held belief, old trauma. Things can change like that, which the mind has a hard time actually believing, but you really can be free of some of the old stuff. It's something that's blocking you from using your soul gifts or from using your intuitive gifts. It tends to be an iceberg of trauma and belief and stuff that's now created some sort of mental berg.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to chip away at enough of it until it breaks apart and doesn't exist anymore. You don't have to get every single little thing, but you have to get, okay, the trauma. I remember my pastor saying meditation is inviting the devil. Okay, we can tap on. I remember my mom saying, "No, you didn't really see your dead grandmother at the end of your bed." Right? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And then the beliefs that you took on from that, like part of me is wrong or bad. It's not safe to be intuitive. It's a lot of times safety. So the belief, like you find what that belief is, you tap and clear that. Once you clear enough of it where it doesn't hold together anymore, you feel so much more free to.
Do you say the negative belief while you're tapping, or do you say the opposite?
Yeah, you say the negative belief at first. It's a whole process. It's a whole ritual. Like there's a protocol, things you do. What you bring up the negative belief because you want to bring that to the surface to clear it. And then you tap on it and you say, like, even if I don't think it's safe to be intuitive, I deeply love and accept myself. That's the basic phrases. Even though whatever, I deeply love and accept myself.
Oh, cool.
And you go around all the points saying that. But you check in first and see how strong that is in you, how strong of a negative belief it is, or how strong the trauma is. And this is where I use, like I said, my body map, and I feel what the other person's feeling. And then you feel how it is after, if it's clear or not. Because the energy of feeling clear it's like a light. It's like your channel is just light. It's a lightness, right? Whereas you feel blocks as like, some kind of stuck energy, some kind of ball, some kind of heaviness. So that's how I use it.
How many
Cool.
how many tappies does it take to get rid of a self-limiting belief or a trauma?
Yeah. It's getting at it from enough places that whole thing breaks up, like I said. So it doesn't take that long though, because when I first started doing this, I was like, damn, this is going to take the rest of my life, all the stuff I've accumulated at this point, but it didn't. Now I can just do it like, periodic, like maintenance. And
Right,
I just do maintenance tapping.
So when you're tapping on these locations though, like because if, for someone like me, I'd be like, oh, this is my fault. I haven't tapped enough, until I'd have like a big red welt on my forehead.
Right.
Like how much time do you spend in each spot?
Oh, just like 7 or 8 taps.
Oh, wow.
Is enough on each spot. Yeah. You say the statement and by then you've tapped 10 times or something, right? Even if, this, I deeply love and accept it. You can look it up online. There's a guide online. You go here, you go here. Yeah. Just like 7 or 8 taps on each spot is plenty to clear. But then you feel if you need to do another round of it or not.
Sure. This sounds like such an easy practice to integrate into your like.
Yeah, it is. It's almost hard for the mind to believe that you can be free of something this fast, but you really can, and you really can feel it. And then you notice, like, you change your energy, the world reacts to you differently energetically.
Sure.
So it changes things very quickly.
When you have isolated like an actual thing you'd like to get rid of using tapping, does that let's say belief, do you have to come at that belief from various points in your body? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
Nope. You can do the same protocol, the same tapping protocol. There's like, 7 or 8 spots that you tap on.
Yeah.
So you just go through it. And then, but coming at it from different angles, meaning like the trauma that created that belief, what that belief actually is.
Sure.
Other beliefs that have supported it, other experiences that supported it, that validated it, what built the iceberg.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's very cool. It's a very cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna try that.
I'd like to talk to you forever, but I'm not allowed to do that. So before we run out of time, please unless you have anything else, Lauren.
I'm excited about everything that she already told me. I've gotten some great little tips from Lisa today.
Lisa, tell everybody where they can find you. Tell them the stuff.
Yeah, well, I love Instagram at Lisa Sarick on Instagram, just my name. LisaSarick.com is my website. Yeah, I'm around.
Perfect. We'll put that in the notes.
Sarak, right?
No.
Nope. Oh, I wrote your name phonetically, so I said it correct. And everybody, of course, her name is spelled Sarick.
Right.
Obviously. Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you and talk with you.
It's really nice to meet you. You guys are lovely.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, we'll be in touch. I want to, we might have to do some follow-ups after Lauren digs in.
Hey, I'm around. I'm here for you anytime.
All right, Lisa. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Lisa.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Visit www.clairvoyaging.com for show notes, merch, or just to say hi. If you'd like to support our journey, visit www.buymeacoffee.com/clairvoyaging. This has been a production of Wayfeather Media.